The Department of Foreign Affairs confirms the arrest of 3 Filipinos in China for alleged espionage. In a statement, Foreign Affairs spokesperson Teresita Daza says they have been formally made aware of the charges against the 3 Filipinos who are currently detained in China. She notes that the department has already coordinated with the Chinese government so that these allegations are tried with due process and that the rights of the Filipinos are fully upheld. Daza says the Philippine Consulate General in China is providing all necessary assistance, including legal support to the detained Filipinos. The DFA official emphasizes that protecting the rights and interests of the Filipinos remains a priority for the Philippine government. The DFA does not provide details on the specific charges that were filed against the Filipinos. Earlier, China said it destroyed an intelligence network supposedly set up by the Philippine Espionage Agency and arrested 3 spies from the country. Quoting a Chinese national security officer, Agence France Presse reported that the arrested individuals allegedly caused harm to China's national security. The report said the 3 were allegedly providing a large amount of military-related and confidential video materials to Philippine agents. The Commission on Elections Anti-Discrimination Panel is asking Pasig City Lone District Representative aspirant Ian Sia to explain his lewd remarks toward single mothers. Comelec Chairman George Erwin Garcia says the task force SAFE issued on Friday, April 4, a show-cause order against Sia over his remarks offering himself to single mothers. Based on a copy of the document, the task force is asking Sia to explain why a complaint for election offense or petition for disqualification should not be filed against him due to his remarks. The panel says his remarks could be a possible violation of Comelec Resolution number 11116, which contains anti-discrimination and fair campaigning guidelines for the May elections. Citing the resolution, the panel says those who commit acts of discrimination against women and gender-based harassment during the election period will be liable for an election offense. The resolution also covers discrimination against marginalized groups like the LGBTQIA+ community, indigenous peoples, persons living with HIV, and persons with disabilities. Sia is a candidate under the slate of Pasig mayoralty candidate Sara Duterte. In a video clip that has gone viral, Sia said during a campaign sortie that solo mothers who are still menstruating can sleep with him once a year. He joked that those who are interested should have their names listed. Sia later on clarified his joke, blaming the machinery and propaganda of his opponents for supposedly blowing the matter out of proportion. According to Sia, women should be loved and respected. Pasig City Lone District Representative aspirant Ian Sia says sorry after he joked that menstruating single mothers could line up to have sex with him. In a viral video taken during a campaign rally, Sia said solo parents who are still menstruating can sleep with him once a year. He joked that the women who are interested should have their names listed. In a press conference on Friday, April 4, Sia issues a public apology. He promises to do better in the future.
Sorry po, inaamin ko po yan at hindi ko po binibigyang katwiran. And pangako ko po sa inyo lahat na nakasubaybay, no, at sa mga nakuha ko po ang atensyon, I will do better.
He says that despite good intentions, it was important to know how his words will affect others. In a caucus on Thursday, April 3, Sia blamed the supposed machinery and propaganda of his opponents, believing the matter was blown out of proportion. According to Sia, he has always been chivalrous and has never disrespected women. He even said women should be loved and respected. The Commission on Elections issued a show-cause order against Sia, asking him to explain his lewd joke. Based on the document, Sia's remarks could be a possible violation of Comelec Resolution number 11116, which contains anti-discrimination and fair campaigning guidelines for the May elections. According to the resolution, those who commit acts of discrimination against women and gender-based harassment during the election period will be liable for an election offense. The son of Davao 1st District Representative Paulo Pulong Duterte is calling on Davao City residents to stand behind his aunt, Vice President Sara Duterte, so that she could be the country's president by 2028. Aside from the Vice President, Rodrigo Rigo Duterte II says the people of Davao must also rally behind his grandfather and namesake, former President Rodrigo Duterte. The former president is currently under the custody of the International Criminal Court at The Hague, Netherlands. Vice President Duterte has not given a final decision on her plans for the 2028 national elections. But on February 7, she said she is seriously mulling a presidential bid. On March 15, after former President Duterte was taken into custody by the ICC, Vice President Duterte was asked if she still considers seeking the highest post in the country. In response, she wondered if the Philippines would still exist by 2028. Rigo Duterte also clarifies that his father, Representative Duterte, has not left his duties even if the House member has been traveling to different countries to attend to family concerns. Rigo believes his father Pulong needed to leave because former President Duterte was supposedly brought to jail without an arrest warrant. The House of Representatives earlier approved Representative Duterte's request for a travel authority to 16 countries, including the Netherlands. This is the second travel authority issued by the House leadership to Representative Duterte. Former President Duterte was arrested on March 11 as law enforcers assisted the Interpol in enforcing an ICC arrest order. The warrant was issued due to charges of crimes against humanity filed against the former leader for his drug war that left thousands dead. South Korea's Constitutional Court unanimously upholds President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment over his disastrous martial law declaration, stripping him of office and triggering fresh elections after months of political turmoil. Lawmakers suspended Yoon over his December 3 attempt to subvert civilian rule, which saw armed soldiers deployed to parliament. Yoon was also arrested on insurrection charges as part of a separate criminal case. South Korea's Constitutional Court acting head Moon Hyung-bae says Yoon's actions violate the core principles of the rule of law and democratic governance.
법치국가 원리와 민주국가 원리의 기본 원칙들을 위반한 것으로 그 자체로 헌법 질서를 침해하고 민주공화정의 안정성에 심각한 위해를 끼쳤습니다.
He says sending armed soldiers to parliament in a bid to prevent lawmakers from voting down his decree violated the political neutrality of the armed forces.
시청구인은 국군의 정치적 중립성을 침해하고 헌법에 따른 국군 통수 의무를 위반하였습니다. 3. 시청구인은 국회와의 대립상을 타개할 목적으로 이 사건 계엄을 선포한 후 군경을 투입시켜 국회의 헌법상 권한 행사를 방해함으로써 국민 주권주의 및 민주주의를 부정하고
The judges ruled that Yoon's unconstitutional and illegal acts were a betrayal of the people's trust and constitute a serious violation of the law. Mixed emotions are felt as both supporters and anti-Yoon protesters gather outside the Constitutional Court. Yoon's removal is effective immediately. It triggers fresh presidential elections, which must be held within 60 days. Authorities will announce a date in the coming days.